Okay, so euro dollar. Zong, right? You're saying that could you give an example when should we enter the market? Sure, sure. I'll give you an example. When I cover FX, there are a few nice trends out there. Okay, so pound dollar, dollar yen. Can we go to pound dollar first? Now, when I trade the FX markets, right? I mean, notice that I cover a lot of markets. So for me, let's say if I'm bearish pound, because today what what the comments made by Theresa May in the UK PM on about Brexit, right? So her comments caused the pound to be very weak. So my job as a trader is to find a nicest looking chart, the chart that looks the best in terms of trends. So my mind is that yes, I want to short the pound. The next question is I want to short the pound against what? Okay, so I know that fundamentally pound is weak. Technical wise, it looks weak as well. So my main bias for at least these few days is to short the pound. Sorry, it's a P. Okay, is to short the pound. And the next question is I'm shorting the pound against what? Okay, and this is where I look at the charts to try to plan something. Okay, so let's go through some pound pairs since we're talking about pound right now. Michelle, sorry about that. Yeah, I think it's the sales team talking. Yeah, my bad, Michelle. I'm using a different computer today. I'm not in my usual office. But let me speak up louder, okay? Sorry about that. Okay, so if you look at the pound pairs, right, you can see that, okay, let me just take away this level. Okay, so pound against what? Now, if you look at pound dollar, right, do you guys think this is bearish looking in terms of weekly chart? What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's bearish? This is a pound dollar weekly chart. Bearish. Yep, exactly. And it's classic price action in terms of bearish. It's been bearish for quite some time. So you can see that, okay, this was a key low. This was a key low. This is a lower high compared to all this high. This is lower low, low high. And right now, okay, when we were somewhere here, right, I wasn't too keen to touch the pound because this level here, around the 128 or so, is very good support. But right now, it seems that we have broken lower. Okay, broken lower. So weekly is definitely on the downtrend. Okay, looks very nice to the downside. So the next question is, let's go to daily chart. Okay. Now, if you draw the support here, you can see the daily chart is also very bearish. And if you notice that this price action here, right, you notice that this support, 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 and right now it has broken downwards. Okay, so weekly bearish, daily bearish, my inclination is to short. All right, and if you look at this price action over here and you compare it to the charts, all right, you notice that you see the you see the second example on the right under the short, second example here. You can see that it was consolidating, same support, and then it broke down. All right, so my trade plan is simple. It's basically using this pattern as a guide, price action. I want to let it pull back to a certain level, back to the previous support term resistance, and try to take a shot from there. So back to the market, see, same thing. And you can see that the market has dropped quite a bit for today. Okay, so my plan is to ask myself, okay, around which level here do I want to short it from? Okay, and that's the tricky part, and that's where trade planning comes in handy. Okay, now, do I want to short it here? Not really, not really. Now let me see, let me just zoom out a bit to see whether we've been in those levels. Okay, so if you see the levels here, we've not been this level since, I don't know when. Let me go to the money chart. Okay, I just want to see a reference point. Okay, so you can see that there's not much support around here. Okay, there's a chance that it might fall through further. Even the monthly looks super bullish. It's super bearish, sorry. But you can see that the daily chart is dropping quite a bit, right? And you can see that the daily candle has closed below the support level, so definitely looking bearish here. All right, so let's start planning a trade to the downside. Let's go to the 4-hour chart right now. Okay, so if you go to the 4-hour chart, you can see that very, very bearish. Okay, and when the weekly is bearish, when the daily is bearish, when the 4-hour is bearish, I'm very inclined to look for retracements to enter the downtrend. Now, a first possible level you want to look out for is anywhere near the 12820 area here. Okay, now we all know that the key support was somewhere here, isn't it? Okay, So my theory says that when it does a breakout to a downside like that, okay, I want to look for it to pull back to the previous support, turn resistance to short. Okay, but in practical terms, the live markets, the market doesn't always pull back to the previous area here. Okay, now which level we're talking about? Somewhere here. So what I'm looking out for is for the market to come to anywhere around this level here. Okay, for it to retrace slowly upwards and anywhere around the 12820 to 12850. This is where I will zoom into my lower term time frames, maybe to the 15-minute chart. And if I see weakness in the 15-minute chart, I'm more than happy to take a shot on the 15-minute chart, and my target will be the first target will be the previous bottom, and second target will be another new low. That's it. So these are the kind of charts that you want to look out for because the trends are in your favor. The trends are pretty clear. Okay, so this is a 4-hour chart. If you go to the 1-hour chart, right, you can see that it's also still very bearish. Still very bearish. Yeah. So 12820 is the first level I'm looking out for. Anywhere between 12820, okay, to 12850, and then from there I try to take it down again and see what happens. Okay, but definitely bearish for the pound dollar, definitely. Now, sometimes when you plan your trade, right, like I said, the market does not come to you sometimes. Sometimes it can just keep dropping and dropping and dropping. And that's why you need to resist the temptation to try to chase market. Okay? And it's just part of the game. It's just part of trading. Sometimes you get the trades you want, and sometimes you don't. Because sometimes the market can keep dropping. And the question you ask yourself is that if it keeps dropping and no retrace, it's very hard to measure my risk to reward because there's no stop loss. The way I trade is that I always want the market to, let's say if it drops, right, I want it to pull back, okay, so that when I take a shot here, at least my stop loss can be above the previous high. Okay, this can be at any time frame, okay, but if the market just falls like that, okay, it's really hard for me to measure my stop loss. And for me, the risk management is more important. Does it feel bad or does it feel frustrating to miss the whole drop when you are spot on your analysis? Definitely. Okay, but you just got to discipline yourself to think in terms of where's my risk and not just on where's my profit. All right, I mean, trust me, it's easy for me to say this right now, but many times during my trading for the past few years, this has been my biggest weakness because I always get very frustrated. My analysis, I would say, is quite decent, it's quite good. So more often than not, the analysis is correct, but because of my trade planning or because the market sometimes, it just doesn't come, it doesn't come. And I got to learn how to let it go. All right, just a little lesson for you guys. All right, so this pound dollar. Is that all right, Tubing? Okay, let's go on to other pound pairs. So besides pound dollar, right, if you focus on the pound, the other one that I wanted you to look up for is the pound cat. Okay, really nice markets to trade here. How about even going lower time frames to look for entries? Yeah, you can XX, right? Yeah, definitely you can go to low term time frame. Again, it depends on your risk to reward. I mean, the way I trade is I always look at weekly, daily, 4-hour. I plan my trades around 1 hour, sometimes 15 minutes. Okay, but sometimes 15 minutes that might not even be pullback. It might be a big drop. Okay, but definitely you can go for lower term time frame. It depends on your preference and what's your risk appetite like. Okay, but it's all about going to a lower time frame and planning and managing your risk there so that you can risk less and try to potentially have a better, bigger reward. Okay, so this is the daily chart of the pound cat. Okay, now this really made me very frustrated this week as well because last week I was eyeing pound cat because of this 1.7 level. Okay, so we are 3 days into, I mean we're 2 days to week by there's 3 candles, right? So you notice that this candle was on Monday, but if you notice that the support, right, 1.7, this is a very, very key support. Now, my discipline or my trading rules is that I don't trade on Mondays, okay, especially the Asian and UK session. And I think there are a few holidays here and there, so I didn't trade on the on Monday. But I know that this 1.7 on pound cat is quite key. In fact, I set an alarm below 1.7 and my price alarm actually went off, but I just didn't look at it because it was Monday. But you see what happened was that this 1.7 is a very key level that I was looking at because I know that if it breaks, high chance that we might go to the previous bottom around the 1.67 area. high chance. Okay, and if you look at the weekly chart, right? Okay, just ignore this candle here, some chart issue. But you can see that yes, the weekly is consolidation, but the daily support is very key to tell me that the market has hit the top of the consolidation and is coming back to the bottom of this consolidation about 167. So even though weekly still looks a bit more bearish, just that now it's consolidation. But on the daily chart, right, you look at the 1.7, right, this key support level here, all right, this key support at 1.7, if it breaks, there's a big possibility that it might drop the previous support around the 1.67 area. Okay, now I planned this trade last week, but what happened was that on Monday morning, this is a 4-hour chart, yeah, you can see there was a gap. Okay, there was a, what gap was this? Hold on. Okay, there was a bit of a gap here, and it opened below the 1.7 area. Okay, so I was looking at it, all right, and because of Monday kind of issue, Monday no trade rule that I have, I'm a bit more, even if I take a trade on Monday, I'm very fickle. I'm very selective. I make sure the setup is really good because Monday, based on my experience, there's a lot of fake moves. Okay, sometimes it breaks out on the Monday and then Tuesday the whole breakout U-turns. Okay, but what I was looking out for, it's back to, because it's a Monday, right? I want it to go back exactly to 1.7 or so. Now, did it go back to 1.7? Nope. I mean, based on this, obviously it doesn't. And before I knew it, it just kept dropping. So it is very frustrating, but it is part of trading. Okay, let me go to the 1-hour chart. Okay, you can see this little here. So my level that I was looking for is back to the 1.7 here, exactly at this line. Right, it teased a bit, make a double top, and then it just drop. Okay. In fact, today, if you're sharp enough, again, I was too busy to take this trade. You can see that the 1-hour chart, see this consolidation here? You see this? XX, right? You're asking whether you can go lower term time frame. Yes, this is where you can actually go to lower time frame as well, because you see this nice consolidation here. So the trend is down. Weekly is a big consolidation, but still bearish. Daily down, 4-hour down, 1-hour down. And you can see this consolidation. This was another breakout that you could have taken here. See here? And the level that you could have traded from, the level was 16825 or so when you broke downwards. Okay, if you go to the 15-minute chart, okay, let me just zoom in a bit. Oh, I'm kicking myself because I didn't take this trade. But when you go to the 15-minute chart, you can see that, oh my god, this is beautiful, man. Where was I? This was today about 3-4 p.m. Okay, but you can see that, oh, this is beautiful. Look at that, all this support, market drop. All right, very clear lower low, pull back so many times. If you miss the first one, they pull back for you again. Miss the second one, they pull back for you again. So look at how many times you pull back to this area, and there's so many chances to take a shot here. And boom, this can be your first profit target. Okay, if you look at this price action pattern, right, it's exactly the same as this one. Exactly the same. So the reason why I did this price action cheat sheet like 4 or 5 years ago, and the reason why I like this sheet, I call it cheat sheet, is because for those of you who need the price action, all right, when I do the webinar live on the live markets, I just want to convince you that such price action patterns happen in the markets every single day. It can be on the daily chart, it can be on the 5-minute chart, it can be on the weekly chart. It still happens, right? Because that's how price action works. So if you look at this little pattern here, the second one on the right, and if you compare it to the charts, look at how similar it is. Support, breakout, pullback, short, boom. Okay, the short was here. Okay, so you can see that it's really bread and butter kind of trading. Okay, if I saw this kind of setup, trust me, I wouldn't even blink an eye to take the trade. Okay, because it's really very clear cut. Yep. Now, some of you might ask, where should I put a stop loss? Let's say if I enter around here. Okay. Now the stop loss can be, let me just go back to my arrow. So you can see that there are a few highs here. You can see that this is another level of resistance, right? Okay. You can see that this is resistance, support. So what you can do is, one way to put your stop loss is put above this high, because this is another level of resistance. Okay, so at least that if it breaks through level of resistance, and if this whole drop, all right, has been pull back all the way to above this level, chances are this drop is a fake out. Okay, but this can be stop loss, your short this here, and then your profit target can be somewhere here. Okay, of course, in hindsight, everything looks easy, but this is a classic example of how you can plan your trade based on different time frames. And these are the kind of trades that you want to take, whereby your weekly is saying the same thing, daily is saying the same thing, 4 hours is saying the same thing, 1 hour is saying the same thing, 15 minutes saying the same thing. Okay, why do you want to get stuck in trades whereby the markets do not know what you want to do? Like, I'm looking at a lot of the indices just now, right? Indices like the Dow Jones, the what's the the Nikkei, a lot of really mixed markets, and I really don't like such markets. Okay, why would you want to risk your money in the markets which there's no clear direction? It's not what retail traders should do. We don't move the markets, we follow the market. So this is a very nice example on how you can trade on different time frames based on high term time frame analysis. Okay, so that's pound CAD. I mean, sorry, I want to be a bit more long-winded because this is a kind of bread and butter kind of setup that I always talk about. Okay, now right now where we are though, okay, I'm not that keen to take any more shots. Okay, because it has been going down for different sessions, and am I still bearish? Yes, I'm still bearish. So what I'm looking out for is for tomorrow, maybe it might pull back to run back to the 16850 area. Okay, I'm looking for pullback to at least here, and then okay, all this resistance level here, and then from there I try to take it down again. Okay, I'm just not keen on shorting on red candles. I really prefer a pullback so that I can manage my risk better. Alright, so that's pound CAD for you. Alright, so let's see what other things. Dollar yen. The last I looked at dollar yen to ping, it was really crap. There's nothing much there. Let me just have a quick look. Okay, let's go to dollar yen. So again, start on the weekly chart. So I hope you appreciate my thought process. That's more important. It's much more important than what I think of the markets is the thought process and the trade planning. Okay, because I can tell you the market is doing this. Let's say just now I was talking about pound CAD, right? I can tell you they look super bearish, but tomorrow some news comes in and pound shoots up. You have to be flexible enough to understand that the technical side of things has changed because of the fundamental news, and you cannot be so rigid and keep sticking to your analysis tonight or my analysis tonight. Okay, now dollar yen on the weekly chart. Okay, you can see that we are on a nice downtrend. Okay, but I can see the downtrend is a bit tired. The momentum is waned because of this triple bottom, and it's not surprising because of this level here. 100, very, very key level, key support level for dollar yen. Okay, if you look at the MACD, okay, you can see that it has made a higher series of higher lows, but you can see that for the price is triple bottom, so this is actually a bullish divergence, which means that price might go up further. Okay, bullish divergence. Okay, right now though it looks like it's consolidating. Now let's go to the daily chart. Okay, daily chart you can see it's clearer, it's consolidating. So what you can do is it's consolidating something like that. Okay, with a base here. Okay, now let's see whether there's any resistance up ahead. Okay, let's put somewhere here. Okay, now it seems that it has broken out. Let me see if there's another level of resistance. Okay, so the daily chart, right, it seems that it has broken out. Okay, my take is that around the 102.50 where we are right now, I'm not keen to long. There's a bit of resistance here. Okay, I mean the trend line at the end of the day is discretionary. So some might draw it like that, some might draw it a bit outer like that, and then pull this down a bit. The reason why I'm doing this is not because I want to play around the trend lines, but I want you to know that trend lines are discretionary. So don't rely on trend lines to try to trade. It gives you an idea of what the market is doing. That's all. Okay, but if you want a bit more firm levels, that's where your horizontal support and resistance are much better. All right. So this level here, 102.50, for me is resistance. If you look at the 4-hour chart, okay, what I like about the 4-hour chart is that it looks a bit more bullish, definitely more bullish. So you know that this is the resistance area 102.50 based on the high term time frame, right? Now what you want tomorrow is you want it to retrace back to support levels. Maybe let's see what level is a good level. Maybe somewhere back here. Okay, and then from there see whether the short term chart is confirmed. and you can take it up back to at least the previous high somewhere here. Whether it can break new high, I'm not sure. Okay, but it's possible that it might rebound or support, push up higher, and it might even break further. Okay, but let's see what happens here. Okay, but dollar yen looks to me turning to the upside on the longer term time frame. Shorter term time frame is consolidating resistance 102.50. Okay, you want it to retrace first before you try to look for longs around the 102 area. And of course, if you break back above 102.50, then it's good to go. Okay, that's dollar yen for you. Any other pairs? Raymond, right? Oh, Raymond, what's it? Euro yen, is it? Or what would you mention? Euro something. Pound kiwi, interesting. I love all these cross currency pairs. Oh wow, nice one, XX. Look at this. I like it. Very nice trend. Lovely. Oh yes. Okay, look at this weekly chart. Pound kiwi. Bearish, right? Any of you think it's bullish? It just looks really, really bearish to me on the weekly chart. All right. I mean, you can there's a bit of bullish divergence here, but yeah, I'm not too worried about it because the weekly chart it might take some time to play itself out. Daily chart. Well, in fact, among the pound pairs, I think the pound kiwi looks the most bearish. Very nice. Daily chart, look at that. Oh my god, this is so beautiful. Look at this. So if you look at the daily chart, right? And if I draw a line here, you can see that this is support level, right? And this support level is around the 17700. In fact, there's so many pound breakouts these few days. It's ridiculous. Okay, it's so it's really bread and butter trading. And if you look at this support here, this support here, this support here, again, if I go back to my cheat sheet, okay, I know you're getting sick of my cheat sheet, but I just want to drill it inside you that it happens a lot. Okay, and you see same thing. Second one from the right. See that? So basically it's coming down, coming down, coming down. And in fact, it gives you a heads up because it has made subsequent lower highs. All these are lower highs. And lower highs means that the momentum is towards the downside. And now, see lower high, and now that we make a lower low, it's confirmed that we're looking bearish. Okay? So this is pound kiwi for you. Now, let's go to the 4-hour chart. Okay? 4-hour chart looks super bearish. Wow, look at the amount of red candles. Okay, really, really bearish. Now, let's plan something then. Okay, because it's so bearish, right? I'm very keen for it to come to the next level of resistance before ticking down again. What I hope for is that this level of resistance, you see this touch here? And I'm hoping that the market will at least come back to this level here. Okay, before I can take it down again. So when I say retrace this level, once it comes around here, this way I turn to a 15-minute chart and let the 15-minute chart turn around, then I take my trade. If the 15-minute chart is still showing an uptrend, I'll be a bit more patient. Okay, because it's very hard. Some clients ask me, oh, Nabil, you say downtrend. So where to short? Is this 176 good to short or wait retrace to 177? I can't answer that. I mean, the market will do whatever it wants to do, but my job as a trader is to look for high probability areas. Okay, nobody can answer you whether it will drop from 1.6 again or whether it go up to 1.65 and 1.77 before dropping. But what you can do is to try to stack the odds to build a trade plan. Okay, the more reasons, the better the trade plan, the higher the probability. Okay, so you see that there's a resistance here. So anywhere around here, around the 176, I'm keen to see what happens on the lower term time frame before taking it down again. All right, let's see whether there's any opportunity on the lower term time frame. So just take note 176 to 176.50. That's a key level I'm looking for. Okay, 1 hour chart looks just as bearish. Now where's my 176 area? 176 around here. Take away the lines. Okay, it's around here. All right, but it looks so bearish, right? Right now, let's see whether I can squeeze any trade in here. Okay, if you're looking for intraday kind of trades, right? Let's see whether I can draw. This is a 1 hour chart. I'm just drawing these lines for just as a guide, yeah. If you're looking for intraday kind of trades, okay, I would say that you might look at around this area here, 1755, and then maybe take it down again, back to maybe about 50 pips or so. Okay, ideally, I like it to retrace back to this 176 based on the market movement, I don't think my trade's there. So I'm looking anywhere near the 1755, somewhere around here. Okay, before taking down again. That's one of the trade plan. A bit shorter term trade plan, but it's possible. Okay, my first target is the previous low because it's just really looking very bearish at the moment. Okay, so I'm happy to join the trend to the downside. Alright, but pound kiwi, yeah, thanks for pointing this out, XX. I mean, if you want to write the pound weakness, look for pound kiwi, pound cat, pound dollar. All these are really nice because it has broken a new low on the weekly and daily chart, so it looks really good. Okay, let's see whether there's any Euro Aussie. Is it relevant? Okay, I'll cover Euro Aussie and then we wrap it up for the day. Yeah. Okay, so but again, be very mindful, especially if you're trading a pound. Always look out for the calendar for pound news. Okay, always look out for it. Euro Aussie. Let's take a look at Euro Aussie. Let's see. Okay, Euro Aussie, nice. Let's do the weekly. Ignore that big green candle, just a little bleep on the charts. Weekly, nice consolidating. Oh, trust me, if it breaks the 1-4, what's this level? 145? No. Yeah, if it breaks the 14500 level, I'll say the 144 level. If it breaks this level, I'll be all over it. But what I'm looking at the pound Aussie, the weekly chart, is that it's making a series of lower highs. See, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. That means the momentum is to the downside. I just need a lower low to confirm it. Pull back, bam, down. This is a very bread and butter kind of trade. Okay. This is a weekly chart. Alright, so this is a weekly chart. Is momentum still the downside, however, it's still consolidating. Okay, and there's a chance that we might come near to the support. The support level is around the 14500, I would say. Okay, we're not far from there. About 50 pips or so, 14500. But weekly looks a bit more consolidating to bearish. Okay, daily chart. Okay, you look at the daily chart. You can see that the support, we are almost near support, around the 145 to 14450 level. Okay, daily chart is in a downtrend though. You can see a little lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and there's a chance that we might hit here. This is a sweet spot that there's a high chance that we might drop to. Okay, daily chart is in a slight downtrend. Sorry. Okay, you can see here? Lower low, lower high, lower low. Alright, this is daily chart for you. Now, if you look at the 4-hour chart, still in a downtrend, but I will be a bit more cautious on the 4-hour chart. So that daily support level that I'm eyeing, right, is around the 14450 to 145, somewhere here, right, based on the daily chart, somewhere here. But right now, I'm looking at a little pullback, at least back to this level. Now, why did I say that is that number one, there's a bullish divergence. So you can see that the swing here. Okay, so lower low, high low on the MACD is bullish divergence. Okay, which means that it might start to retrace at least back to these levels here. And then maybe it will come down. Okay, so just be a bit patient, but daily chart still looks bearish. Okay, it's not the cleanest of trends, but basing on the daily chart, as long as the 4-hour and daily stay on a downtrend, there's a high chance that we might come back down to the support level of daily chart, which is around the 145 level here. Okay, but expect a retracement from here because there's a bit of a MACD divergence on a bullish divergence. Yep, so that's Euro Aussie for you. All right, last one, Aussie dollar. Sure, let me talk about that. Okay, so let's close. Okay, let's go to Aussie dollar weekly chart. Oh, Aussie dollar weekly chart, very interesting. Okay, so you can see Aussie dollar weekly chart. It looks bullish simply because you can see that a series of higher lows. So what I like about Aussie dollar is that the momentum is the upside, higher low, supported by this trend line. Okay, so it is moving up. However, this resistance level, it's like knocking on heaven's door. Like how many times you touched but you couldn't break through. This resistance level around the 7750. Okay, around the 750, there's very strong resistance. Every time the market tried to hit that level, it couldn't break. It's around 7750 to 78. So right now where we are, we're a bit of a no man's land. Okay, what I'm a bit worried is that there's a bit of a lower high at MACD, even though there's double top, and this is called bearish divergence. Okay, but it's still consolidating for sure on the weekly chart. So let's go to the lower term time frame. Let's go to the daily chart. Okay, you can see and draw a line across here on the 77 to 7750 or so, a lot of resistance. Okay, Right now for Aussie dollar, I'm a bit more keen to let it break this key level first, at least around the 77 cents. Break above, candle close above, and then I'm willing to take it up. Okay, because it's trying to break on the higher term time frame, but it's not broken yet. Okay, and right now it's just consolidating. So you can draw the levels here. Okay, one trade plan that might be a bit counter trend for now is that if you look at this level here, if it's tried to break the 77 level and it fails again, high chance it might turn around and drop back to the support level, maybe around 75.50 or so. Okay, if you go to the 4-hour chart, you can see that it's still trying to break. Alright, it's a bit more consolidating. If you go to 1-hour chart, okay, you can see that it's a bit of a downtrend forming already. Okay, so one trade plan is that based on the daily time frame, right? If you see weakness at around this key 77 level, right now it's forming some form of double top. If you see weakness, there's a chance that it might fall to the support trend line somewhere here. Okay, if you are bullish, better to wait for it to break the 77 clearly before taking it up. Alright, that's Aussie dollar for you. Okay, so now let me just cover something now. Again, whenever you guys, I'm a pure technician when it comes to trading, but don't ever forget to always check your news. Okay, news is a very, very important important part of trading, because sometimes it can change the whole technical landscape. Okay, and I'm not sure whether you guys read the news, but IG has just bought over Daily FX. So I mean, Daily FX is a very popular website that I always go to for the past 4 years, and very happy to know that the company I'm working for is bought over Daily FX. It's a really good analysis portal, and you can use the very important thing. You can use the calendars here in terms of economic calendar to understand what's going to happen, what's the priority level in terms of high, low, or medium, and from there always be on top of the news. Okay, because you don't want to be caught in your pants down when you analyze the trade and when you pull the trigger just before a news announcement comes out. Sometimes you can get lucky, but more often than not, it will eat you. Okay, and it's not worth losing money because of news. Of course, sometimes news there's no scheduled news and it just comes up from nowhere. You can't avoid that. That's why stop loss is always important, right? But always remember to check calendars, because I have many instances where my clients and traders, they follow the setups, they follow price action, but they always forget to check news and they get burned. Okay, so it's not worth it. All right. If not, I need to wrap up the session right now. Again, thank you so much for attending this week's Technical Tuesdays. This session will be recorded and uploaded on our website next 1-2 days. Again, thank you so much for coming, and happy trading. All right, take care. See you soon. Cheers.